Welcome to History Rewrite. Please, if you are new here, kindly subscribe to our channel. Today, we'll uncover the truth behind Rastafarianism. Why do Rastas worship Hailey Setsssie? You've heard of dreadlock, reggae, and Bob Marley, but do you know where Rastafarianism truly began? In this video, we'll take you a deep dive into the heart of Jamaica, where a spiritual and cultural movement was born out of struggle, pride, and a powerful dream of Africa. You'll discover how a Jamaica prophet, an African emperor, and a people longing for freedom gave rise to one of the world's most unique belief systems. From Marcus Garvey's bold prophecy to the rise of reggae and global Rasta culture, we're breaking it all down. This is the story of how Rastafarianism began. After slavery was abolished in Jamaica in 1838, freedom didn't bring prosperity. Most formerly enslaved people were left with nothing: no land, no money, no power. British colonial rule still dominated the Islam or island, and poverty was everywhere. In cities like Kingston, poor communities struggled just to survive. But out of this hardship grew a desire not just for money, but for identity, dignity, and spiritual liberation. Many Jamaicans began asking, why are we still living like this? Where do we really come from? Is there a better life waiting somewhere? Maybe in Africa. This question laid the foundation for a movement that would reconnect them to their roots and rewrite the story of who they really were. To understand Rastafarianism, you need to know one name called Marcus Garvey. He was born in 1887 in St. Anna's Bay, Jamaica. Garvey was a writer, speaker, and political leader who believed black people across the world needed to unite and rise. He founded the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, and preached black pride, self-reliance, and African unity. He famously said, "A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." But it was one particular prophecy that changed everything. Look to Africa, where a black king shall be crowned, for the day of deliverance is near. Then in 1930, something historical happened. In Ethiopia, Rastafari Makone was crowned Emperor Hailey Setsssie I, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering lions of the tribes of Judah. To many Jamaicans, this wasn't just a royal ceremony. It was a prophecy fulfilled, a real black king ruling a free African nation that had never been colonized. Some began to believe Hailey Setsssie was not just a king, but divine. In the early 1930s, a new spiritual movement rose in Jamaica, especially in the poor urban areas like Kingston and Spanish Town. It was more than religion. It was resistance, identity, and hope. Several key figures helped shape the movement: Leonard Howell, Joseph Hilbert, Archibald Dunkley, and Robert Hines. But Leonard Howell stood out. Often called the first Rastas, Howell was a radical thinker. He preached that Hailey Setsssie was the returned Messiah, the living God, Jah. Howell rejected British rule and told black Jamaicans to embrace their African heritage. He taught they were kings and queens, not subjects of Babylon's the oppression or oppressive colonial system. He urged them to live naturally, spiritually, and free. His followers were often the poor and marginalized, but his message gave them power, purpose, and identity, Rastafari. And with that, the movement was born. Rastafarism isn't just a religion. It is a way of life rooted in power beliefs. In this fourth section, 1. Hailey Setsssie is Jah, the living God who came to restore black identity or dignity and pride. 2. Repatriation. Africa, especially Ethiopia, is a true homeland many Rastas dream of returning, physically or spiritually. Thirdly, the untold lifestyle. Living naturally, eating clean plant-based food, avoiding processed items, and staying spiritually pure. Fourthly, rejection of Babylon, the corrupt system of colonialism, capitalism, and oppression. Rastas aim to build a life of truth and African consciousness. These are not just ideas, they are acts of spiritual resistance. One of the most iconic symptoms or symbols of Rastafarism is dreadlocks. But dreadlocks are more than a hairstyle, they are deeply spiritual. Inspired by Nazarite vow in the Bible, Rastas grows their hair as a sign of devotion, strength, and patience. Wearing dreads is also a rebellion against Western beauty standards and affirmations of natural identity. Rastas also wear the color red, gold, green, and sometimes black from the Ethiopian flag. Red symbolizes the blood of myths. Then the gold is African wealth and divine light. Then the green stands for the beauty and abundance of the land. And the black stands for the identity and pride of the people. This symbol tells the story of pride, resistance, and spiritual freedom. In its early years, Rastafarism was freed. Rastas were labeled outcasts, criminals, even madmen. Police raid Rastas communities, destroy homes, and jail people just for having dreadlocks or mentioning Hailey Setsssie. The media painted them as dangerous radicals. But behind the headline, most Rastas were peaceful, seeking justice and spiritual liberation. Despite the persecution, the movement grew stronger. In the 1960s and 70s, a new sound gave Rastafari a global voice: reggae music. Born in the street of Kingston's, reggae carried the rhythms of resistance, faith, and freedom. At the heart of it was Bob Marley. More than a musician, he was a messenger. Through songs like Get Up, Stand Up, One Love, and War, Marley shared Rastafarism belief with the world. His music spoke of free African Jah and love. He became the global face of Rastafari, and his influence spread across continents. By the late 20th century, Rastafarism had reached the US, UK, and Africa. In the West, it resonated with oppressed communities fighting racial injustice. In Africa, Rastas saw Hailey Setsssie as a symptoms or symbol of unity and black pride. The movement also influenced global fashion, music, and spirituality, encouraging people to reconnect with their roots. Interestingly, Hailey Setsssie himself never claimed to be divine. In fact, he denied being God. But his 1966 visit to Jamaica was historic. Tens of thousands greeted, like him, a returning savior. For Rastas, his presence was confirmation of prophecy, whether or not he accepted the rule. Rastafarism is more than religion. It is a movement, a powerful expression of identity, resistance, and love. It's about reclaiming African pride, rejecting oppression, and living in harmony with nature and spirit. As Bob Marley once said, none but ourselves can free our mind. Rastafarism continues to inspire millions through faith, culture, and music. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love. Thank you. See you in our next video. Bye for now.